Hi, welcome to another episode of History on the Hill. I'm Monique Sugimoto, archivist and local history librarian with the Palos Verdes Library District, and I am here today with the wonderful Maria Sorrello.
Thank you, Monique. Yes. It's always so much fun to be here with you and be your sidekick, as I say.
I love it. It's so much fun. We always say this, we have to do this more often.
Yes, we do. Absolutely
Perfect.
do. Yes, it's so much fun for sure.
Yes.
So I know there's so much to get to today on the show, and we've been at several events together in the last month or so.
We have.
And I know the first one you wanted to touch upon was the tribute to Ken Dida. Tell us about your thoughts on that and your relationship with him.
I really thought that the tribute to Ken Dida was really, really nice. I liked hearing everybody from the community coming up, the family, that we got to hear from the family members and see some of the side of Ken that we didn't, get to see. I really was particularly touched by Ara's comments about Ken and how closely that they worked together. I had no idea that they had worked together for so long.
Many years.
Yeah, for many years. And one of the things that Ara said was that he goes back, and any time that there is a new employee, that he always suggests that they go back and read the goals report. So I went to the website and I got the goals report. And I just think that it is so important, to have something like this, a city, an organization, to be able to go back in and go to the guiding documents that led the city. And I think that has definitely worked very well here with the city of RPV, just because look at the way it has turned out, and you can really see that preliminary goals report is so similar to what's going on.
Yeah, and I think that Ken also was so very passionate about saving the coastline.
Yes.
And I know that you have a copy of the book that he wrote called Save Our Coastline. He gave those books to everyone because it was so important to him that Rancho Palos Verdes did not turn into Manhattan and Manhattan, New York, and Manhattan Beach, because he just believed in the beauty of the land and the ocean, and it was more than just something he wanted to do. It was just a passion for him.
Right. Well, exactly. And he was so involved in the incorporation and that entire effort, which was the Save Our Coastline effort, initially, and then that went into the Fourth City campaign, kind of seamlessly. But it was very important to him. It was an extremely important effort for the community as a whole.
Right.
And so many people participated in that. And I can't tell you how many people that I have spoken with who grew up here, and they say, oh yeah, I remember knocking on doors with my parents, to go and, make sure that people were aware that they would go and vote, or whatever it was. It was a huge grassroots efforts. And if there's any historian out there, or any budding historian student who would like to, learn more, about the incorporation, or even just to see how grassroots efforts work.
Right.
This is a classic example. I mean, with Ken and everybody who was involved, the League of Women Voters, all of the other people who were involved, and he calls them out here in the booklet as well. It's just a classic example, and I just think it's really interesting that we have.
It's also really interesting that you did one of the last interviews with Ken.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
On your History on the Hill right here in our studio.
Yes.
But you met him back in 2013. Tell us about that.
It was, I started at the library in 2012.
Okay.
And soon after I started there, I got a call from him saying, I have this collection, about 20 boxes in my garage, and it's all on the Save Our Coastline Fourth City campaign. Would you be interested in it? And I said, why, sure, I would be interested in it. That's really important, having those collections to document the materials. So I went over to his house, and I hadn't really talked to him that much, and I wasn't sure how the conversation would go, since I was very new to my position, but also new to kind of understanding the history of what it was all about. And I heard that he was an engineer, and I said, I got this. As my father is a mathematician but started out as an engineer, I said, we're going to be talking about process. We're going to be talking about the nuts and bolts of things and how things proceed. And we had a lovely 2-hour conversation, and I was writing notes furiously. And I'd say, wait, Ken, hold on a second. I don't understand what that was. And he would tell me, oh, what that was, and, and explain everything. And over about 6 weeks or so, maybe it was a little bit, maybe it was 6 months, I went to his house, picked up the boxes, brought them back to the library, and we have been processing the collection. And today, actually, I brought some of the materials from the collection.
Let's look at some of those.
Just to kind of, we can see, and how important these things were. Now, these come from, we have about a box, and that's a record storage carton box of clippings files. So this organization and many people in the organization kept clippings. And this is like a couple of those clippings.
I was going to ask you as well, how long does it take you to process a collection of this size?
It takes a long time because I am just 1.5 persons and plus volunteers. But my volunteer, Carol, has been working on this faithfully for the last year. And she has taken such an interest in it. And, there's a lot of sorting through the materials.
Sure.
The materials didn't come to us, already kind of organized.
Right.
They actually are a number of people's collections all dumped together.
Wow.
And then they were all kind of organized by date, which doesn't lend itself that well to, to kind of understanding what the collection was. It kind of breaks apart the provenance of who was collecting what. But we're starting to put that all together now. And this little pile here comes from a collection of, from the clippings.
Let's go through those.
Yeah, let's go through these. Okay.
It's so interesting.
And so I'm just going to put them over here so you can see. So this high density proliferation creates new PV profile. So like this one is specifically about high density. So it was high density views, making sure that the views were there, and no high rises.
No
and
that
was kind of one of the things, that came along.
Right.
And this was actually in the vote for incorporation.
Yes.
And I wanted to bring this one. Because this one is actually a vote against incorporation.
Right.
So just as there was an effort, to incorporate, or to get people to vote for incorporation, there were those people who were opposed to incorporation as well. And so these were kind of the arguments that they would put out. And I mean, this is actually a full page ad from the newspaper. So I mean, it was
very important.
It was an extremely important thing. One of the this is just kind of getting into some of the things that were happening along the way. But this was back in 1971 with the big fence controversy.
Right.
Yep. Yes. So there were some land developers or people who owned the property, and what they did was they fenced off the area from where they are. And here you can see that there is a street and a bus stop.
I love that.
I know, it's so amazing that you can't sit on the benches because there is a fence there.
Were you supposed to climb over the fence?
Yeah, I don't know exactly, and sit on the benches waiting for the bus.
Exactly.
But this actually went all the way down to to the coast. So it was actually blocking the coast. And the Save Our Coastline effort was trying to get the developers to remove the fence. So there is actually a whole fence file.
And you had so many of the different photos and pictures of the fence, which is fascinating.
Very fascinating.
Yes.
And so one of the things that happened in this, and actually this was one of the last times that I spoke with Ken, he wanted to get one of the cartoons that was drawn by Paul Conrad.
That's right.
So Paul Conrad, was a Pulitzer Prize winning cartoonist.
Right.
And he actually was in the area. I think he was even in charge of a Little League field, but he drew some cartoons for the Save Our Coastline efforts.
Yes.
I'm going to keep this one because I think this is my favorite.
Yeah, mine as well.
So this one is the Manhattan Island West. Anyone?
Yes.
So this is, what, or his drawing of what the peninsula would look like.
Yes.
With rampant development.
Right.
And the idea is, can you find where the Wayfarers Chapel is?
Yeah.
Can you find the lone house on this photograph or in this drawing?
And the spire from Marineland.
Yes. And the Wayfarers Church. So this is what, the idea of this is what's going to happen.
Right.
If you do not control development, on the peninsula. And, and that was really at the core of what they did.
Yes.
I just wanted to show you this one as well, because this is also Paul Conrad drawing, and his version with the fence. Now, we saw the fence article in the newspaper, and this is Paul Conrad's, idea of how a painter is going to be painting with the fence.
It's unbelievable.
In the photograph, yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Isn't it great?
That. Yeah, it is. I mean, it was just so important to him, and really the fact that they even made it a cartoon. He made it a cartoon. It was kind of making fun of a serious issue, but it was just very important to him.
Very important to him. And so this is also my favorite. Now, this one is not in the collection.
Okay.
This one was donated from somebody else.
Okay.
To a family member, to the Moores, and they donated it to us. But this is Save the Coastline from the developers, #1.
Yes.
So here we have, and this is an original drawing, by Paul Conrad. So I think that is, again, it just gets to the, just to see what development would have done, rampant development would have looked like here on the peninsula.
I wonder if there were developers kind of waiting in the wings, do you think?
Well, there were developers who were already, developing, and, that's another part of the clippings files.
I wondered.
Is that there were clippings of, a 600-unit condo or 500 units or whatever. So they were really, they were getting already permits from the county to do all, to do all of this work. Yeah.
Yes.
And so one thing I did, one last thing on Paul Conrad, just to see that he was so involved in the community. They did something called Finnegan's Wake, and this was the Save Our Coastline effort. And it was the Save Our Coastline people staged a mourning party after recent defeats on annexation and zone changes dealt them by the county. Finnegan, in the coffin, is really the famed newspaper columnist Paul Conrad.
I mean, so talk about going to extreme measures.
Yes, but here Paul Conrad is in the coffin, and that they actually had this party, to
bring light to it,
to bring light to it, to actually discuss it. But there is Paul in the coffin. He was much alive, of course, but. I just think that was really great.
It was. He had a great sense of humor, for sure.
Great sense of humor, yes. And so we do have, I just wanted to also show you this, that we have this book from, in the library's collection, of Paul Conrad, drawing the line. I mean, this is just one, but he was such an interesting person, and so blessed we are to have him, be a part of, of the efforts in the early incorporation of the city. But really it affects the rest of the peninsula, so it's not just the city. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the Save Our Coastline, the book that Ken wrote, you have that at the library, so people can come and they can read it and see it.
We do. And it's even signed by Ken Dida, so I have a signed copy.
That's so nice.
So we have a couple of copies in the local history center.
Good.
And I believe we have a copy that is in the circulating collection. And if not, I will certainly get one in the circulating collection.
That's great.
I think he gave me like about 5 or so. To have that.
When you talk about Ken and your conversations you had with him, what were you most impressed about?
I was most impressed by the level of detail and how much he knew. And when you look at the records and what we have, I mean, there were studies and reports and the organization, I mean, the mental organization to get all of that done. I mean, clearly it wasn't just Ken. He had to work with a group of people. And to be able to do that, and everybody's contributing, I think was really impressive to me, And also, like, how do you just know? You move into a community, because you moved here in the 60s.
Right.
How do you know how to go about incorporating or analyzing what the issues are in a community? I mean, that's one of my things. Like, how do you know what is going on? Like, how do you know where the trash is taken? And
and he
like,
he was such an innovator, if you think about it, because he went out on a limb to make sure that what he believed was what he believed, and he got so many people on board with him.
Yes.
And that was, like you said, Ara mentioning that he goes back to that goals report because that was just so very important to him, and he knew it would be for the community.
For the community,
yes.
I mean,
even years later here.
Like, that's that Ara goes back to this, I think is just really special.
It's amazing.
I know. Yeah. I just love it.
So
it's
fun.
Really fun.
So fun.
Yes.
Well, you have been so busy in the last month, Monique.
Yes.
And one of the events that you were a part of was with the Village. Tell us about the Village.
Yes. So full disclosure, I am on the board of the Village, the Palos Verdes Peninsula Village. Mm-hmm. And it is an organization for our older population on the peninsula.
Right.
So it spans the peninsula. It is for our older population who wants to age in place.
Yes.
Don't want to go to some home. Don't want to stay in the community that they love and that they raise their children in, that they have their family and friends in. Mm-hmm. And the Village just celebrated its 10th anniversary since incorporation.
So great.
And I just think that's a pretty special event. So there was a little party. It wasn't a little party, it was actually a big party over at the Unitarian Church.
Yeah, we're showing some footage of that right now, actually, of the event itself. Now, the Village isn't a place, though, right?
Nope. The Village is not a place. We do have an office. So the Village does have an office, and we're actually in one of the classrooms over at Malaga School, which is nice. It is a concept. It is building community. It's building a community of people who want to help each other age in place. So we have volunteers. There are members. If a member needs to go to a doctor's appointment and they're no longer driving, they can call for a volunteer to come and take them.
That's great.
There are social events. There are book clubs. There's something called Salon, where people meet in other people's homes.
Wow.
And they discuss things, or they go together to different events. So it's really creating connections and community within a community.
How have you seen that grow over time?
Well, I think that there is more and more interest in it, and I think people are seeing the value of creating those friendships and those lasting friendships and relationships. When people are, a spouse will pass away, or friends are going to be moving, or the children are now not in the area. How do you make friends and get to know people at that age? I mean, I'm not, in that upper category. My hope is that people who are in their 60s will be interested and get involved, because we're all going to be like this. We're all going to be in a way where, I want to stay here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to be, and I'm going to give a shout out to Maria Ashla. Maria Ashla is in her 90s. Sorry, Maria, I busted your age.
Wow.
But where would I ever be able to meet somebody like Maria? And she's shared so much about her own professional life, kind of showed me the ropes of how the Village runs and operates, and I just love that opportunity to be able to spend time with our older community.
And now, is there an beginning age to enter the Village?
No, there is no limit or requirement that you have to be over 50 or something like that. No, there is no. It's just we have people who are part of the Village that moved here from out of state.
It's great.
And so they land in the peninsula, and maybe they have kids who are in Manhattan Beach or Redondo or whatever. But how do they get to know where who people are? So like those people come, and this is an opportunity for them to grow their network and to meet other people.
And do some of the younger people help the older people
yes,
out?
Absolutely.
The volunteers?
Yeah. So we have a full core of volunteers who drive people to appointments or take them to wherever they need to be. Sometimes it's just a call, like, hey, you're just out of the hospital, how have you been?
Right.
How's everything going?
Which is so important, because we need that connection like you were talking about.
Yeah, I think it's that connection.
Yeah.
And I think we interviewed Paul Lassman, who is a volunteer. So his mom, I think, is in her 90s in the Valley, and he talks about why he volunteers and giving back to the community. And so I just think that it's a great opportunity for everybody, everybody involved.
Absolutely.
To be a part.
That was awesome.
It was a really nice, a really well attended party.
There was a lot of people there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have to send you the link to a video. The library videoed the initial. There was an information session held at the library by the person who was with AAUW who really wanted to push this along, Sherry May. So this started out as a project of the AAUW.
Okay.
And they did a study, realized this was one of the issues. So they held an information session at the library. I was new at the library. I was the bouncer at the door, pushing people away because we were at capacity.
Oh, that's so great.
In the library, we were over the fire code. And so I had to say, I'm sorry, I know you're interested, but they're going to have to, I can't let you in.
Wow.
Because there were that many people who were interested.
Well,
and
the community's growing.
And
like
how many people are over 65 years old on the peninsula? I think it's over 25%.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So there are villages all over the United States.
There are, okay.
It's a national movement to have villages in communities. So there's a California network. There's also the U.S.-wide network.
Well, I think people are also aging younger.
Yes.
They're more vibrant. They do more things. Yeah. So it's great that there are places like this for sure.
Oh, it's just fabulous. I just think it's a really important part of a community and building a community, especially for the peninsula.
For sure.
Yeah.
And something that is building monthly is the library, Monique.
Yes.
There's so much going on at the library. Tell us what's new, what's happening.
Let's see, I think the last time I was here, I was letting you know that we are building the patio out on Deep Valley at the library. So we had a little bit of a stall because there was some, as construction goes, but there is a lot going on in the background, and that is now going full steam ahead. So we will soon have a nice sitting area patio with Wi-Fi out there. We'll have seating. That's the big issue right now in the library is there is no seating.
Inside or outside?
Well, inside and outside,
really?
Both. Yeah, I mean, we are always at capacity. Not capacity in terms of the fire code, but just almost every single chair is taken.
Wow.
Come during finals, week with the kids.
Yeah.
And there are a lot, you can't get a place to sit. So increasing the seating in front of the library is going to really help. And we're really lucky that the Peninsula Friends Foundation, the Library Friends Foundation, is supporting that and helping to make that happen.
Well, it's such an amazing library, and we often talk about it because there's so much to do, and it's so comfortable when you walk in too. So
it is really nice.
It is,
and it is a cooling station. For those of you who did not know, it is cooling station that you can go during hot weather. But we have programs, for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's not just. We have summer reading program, which is going full steam right now, and that's not just for kids, but for teens and adults.
Yep.
So you can the prize for adults who complete their summer reading, rally, is actually a little tote bag from the library.
Those little tote bags are very popular
they are,
these days.
Listen, those Trader Joe's tote bags.
Yes,
you can get yourself a library tote bag. So that's going on, and we have book clubs. There's our standard book librarian, books by mail, for people who can't get to the library,
right?
And all sorts of different programs. Spice Odyssey is one of them. There's crafts, so just all sorts of
fun things to do.
Author talks,
yeah.
And, so
I love the fact that you can bring kids in there, and it's their first experience at the library.
Yes.
So some of the groups, moms bring their babies. It's so great.
Yeah,
so
it
great.
is really nice. And the Young Readers Department really does a lot with that. So there's story times not just at the Peninsula Center, but at all of the libraries. So there's always, someplace. And the summer, it's really fun. We don't get, I don't see a lot of teens, but I'm in a different part of the library. But it's really great to see, kids taking advantage of that. We have a puzzle table in there. If you ever just want to sit and do a puzzle, we have a puzzle table.
That's
so
nice.
People can come in.
Yeah, what a great thing. So many things to do.
There are a lot of things. And I know last time I mentioned this, and I want to mention it again. It's called the Link Plus service that we have.
Okay.
And that is where, if we don't have a book, we're part of this consortium of libraries. You can request a book, and it'll be sent to you to our library.
And then you can pick it up there.
And you just pick it up, just like your book's on hold. But it's from a different library, not one of our 3 libraries, our locations, but from the consortium that's throughout California. I think it's Nevada and also Oregon. I can't remember exactly the states, but it's just fabulous. It's a great program.
And don't forget the book sale, my favorite part.
Oh my gosh, the book sale, yes. The book sale at both, at all 3 libraries, but the Peninsula Center book sale, and also the donation days.
Yes.
So that's something that is really important as well. You can donate books, contact the foundation, and the foundation just got a new development director, which is exciting. So we'll have some changes afoot with the foundation.
And I know you were going to tell us about some things going on at the library this month.
Yes. So I have my little packet here of different things. So there is this Get Creative with Clay, Take and Make.
Okay.
So this is just going to be, you can go in, pick up a little packet, and make your own little creative item from clay, and then it might be part of an art show that we're going to have.
That's great.
One of the newer products that we have is Comics Plus for everybody who likes reading comics or graphic novels. Oops. So here we go. So this is one thing that might be of interest for people, is this, the comics.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of fun. It's just a new resource with the start of our fiscal year. We get new resources.
That's great.
Books by mail, I think I've talked to everybody about. We have this new program called Conversation Club, and it's being sponsored with the South Bay Literacy Council.
Who thinks of all these things?
Our librarians do. So we do. There's a everybody kind of sits back and says, well, what are the needs in the community, and what can we, how can we respond to that?
That's great.
And so this is the Conversation Club. That is a kind of a new program. This is one that we have had before, but I always want to bring this up. Board games. So you just want to come sit in the library, cool off during the summer or even during the year.
Can you bring a game, or do you have them there?
We have the games.
You do have the games.
We do have the games, and I'm not sure if other people bring their games, but that might be, bring them. Who knows? Why not?
That's so fun.
So that's board games.
Yeah.
These are all the summer programs. So with our summer reading program, we also have a full array of programming for, that goes with, so this is for the adult summer program. So you can see we have, it's like author talks and different presentations.
And they can get all this information on the website as well, is that right?
All of this is on the website.
Okay,
everything is on the website.
Great.
And also this is one for kids. These are the kids events. Backwards and front.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, you got
many things to do at the library.
Sure. Yep. So we've got you covered.
You do.
Yep. So those are the kids, and then we have one last one, which is the teens.
Okay.
So yeah.
Very good.
I know, we could go on this forever. Look at all this that I'm getting here.
There's so much to do.
I love this program, and we're gonna have to go overtime to do this. But this is called Getting Jiggy with It. So this is
the jigsaw puzzles.
A jigsaw puzzle tournament, so competition.
Oh.
So you get,
Is it timed?
Yes, it is timed, and you have a group. I think it's a group of 4 people who, you all get the puzzle at the same time, and whoever completes it the fastest wins.
How many pieces?
I'm not sure. Let me take a look and see if this
is that a?
I don't know if it says it in. It's a 500-piece puzzle. Ooh. So teams of 4 will compete to complete a 500-piece puzzle in the shortest amount of time.
And what do you win? Do you know? Is there anything up for grabs?
I don't know. Why don't you? You can qualify and see what it is.
I love puzzles.
Yes, and the standard stuff.
Yep, the book
Agatha
clubs.
Christie Book Club. Come on.
Oh, my sister-in-law would love that. She's an avid reader.
And Agatha Christie. Who doesn't like Agatha Christie?
That was her favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much fun.
That is so much fun. And then we also have an author talk coming along. So if, this is a one. We just have lots of different things.
So make sure to go to that website, which is
pvld.org, and you can click on the events tab and get all of the different types of events. You can sort it by adults, teens, seniors, whatever kids, and find your next fun thing
outing
at the library.
And before we go,
Monique
and I had an opportunity to meet up at Dodger Stadium, which was so fun.
It was such a fun time. And my husband this morning when I left, he said, please thank Maria. He also wanted to know if you got a bobblehead.
Yeah.
So we got a bobblehead too.
It was a special night because it was Shohei Ohtani bobblehead night.
Yeah.
And so It was a lot of fun, and it was a great game. So I'm glad you guys came.
And Maria gave us a wonderful tour behind the scenes. But what was so great is that it just kind of happened spontaneously. I mean, I think it was at Ken's memorial.
Yes.
I said, "Oh, tomorrow I'm going to the Dodgers game," and you said, "So am I.
I'll be there."
Meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we met, and it was just just really fun. So thank you so much for giving us that great tour.
Oh,
we loved it.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure, and it's always my pleasure to be here with you. So thanks for having me on History on the Hill.
Here. Yep, exactly.
It's so fun.
Thank you
for
having us.
Okay. Absolutely.
And so we will hope to do this again very soon.
Very soon.
So join us, everyone, for our next episode of History on the Hill. We'll see you then.